So round 2 of the TikTok Women's Six Nations is done and dusted, and I'll say it right now, that I'm pretty happy with my performance. I had to make some late changes because the England team sheet actually came out on Friday, and apologies for not bringing out a video on that. Unfortunately, I was away and you guys had to settle just for a post instead from my updated team. But we're back to normal setup this week, so if there's any late changes, expect a video Saturday morning. So without further ado, let's get in and see how I did for round 2. So to start off, in the front row, obviously O'Dyer flopped with only 3 points. I definitely need to rethink my prop strategy because at the moment they just aren't getting many points for me. Maybe I'll look at a French or England prop as they're likely to win and get more points. But then you take away from a position that might get heap loads more points, like a winger or fullback for example. Anyway, saying that, Deshagang did actually pretty well in a loss with 30 odd points, so I think she'll be remaining for the remainder of the Six Nations, if not definitely next week. And Phillips also did well, picking up a try in Wales's impressive win, but she does actually face England next week, so maybe I'll have to rethink if I keep her or not. In the second row, Fal and Bonner were okay, probably expecting Fal to do a little better from her Woman of the Match performance last week. So I guess I was let down slightly as I could have picked a different French position. And as for Bonner, well, nothing too terrible, but Scotland did show determination, and I guess I had to put a Scottish pick in there because I had used up all my other nation picks elsewhere. So not too bad really. The back row was actually pretty good for me, with Butchers scoring the least with 45 points. A very decent return off the back of her Woman of the Match performance last week. She's already made 28 tackles in 2 games. Her and Lily Crapp seem to be real workhorses in that Wales back row, so I'll definitely keep an eye out for them both, but maybe not next week, as I've already said they come up against England. Next was Menage, who scored 54 points. Again, a decent total, and I'm definitely happy with her return. Poppy Clear was my captain, and she did do very well with 67 points. But I guess at the top end, in the leagues, it really comes down to picking the right captain and super sub each game week. And although 67 points is great, there is a player in my team that has over double that. But I guess I can't be too mad about it, and I need to take the positives when they come. I might need to take bigger risks though, with my captain and super sub choices, but nonetheless, Cleo was great. My halfbacks didn't do the best, or was probably the wrong choice, especially after Sansus for France scored over 80 points. Duran also did okay, nothing spectacular though, with 32 points. She does seem to control the game for France so well, and her skill set is brilliant, with a fair few crossfield kicks. Definitely a player I'm keen to keep in my team, so hopefully she can rack up a few more points going forward. My centres performed well for me, with both scoring around the 50 point mark. Jones continued her great form from last week, which is great to see, and Harrison performed brilliantly at 10 for England as she returned to the side. So definitely a pairing which I have in mind for next week and future weeks. But Higgins was also exceptional again, so I think I might have to keep her in mind too. And with Wales coming up against England, I may switch her out for Jones. And finally for my starting team is the back 3. It was definitely a mixed bag. You can't look anywhere else but Lydia Thompson, who scored over 150 points. If I would have picked her as my captain, I would have been absolutely laughing. But at least I had her in my team, right? Obviously, crazy stuff from her. She beat Packers' score from last week, which is no easy task. So fair play to Thompson. Then we have Boulard, who was fortunate to get over for her try and boost her points up. If she didn't have that, then her points may have lacked a little bit. A bit like Jazz Joyce, who didn't actually do very great. 25 points for a winger isn't very good, especially when her side won the game. And it's Jazz Joyce. So definitely going to be looking at a different pick, maybe a French winger next time out, or even an Irish winger. so stay tuned for that one. And then my bench. Well, it was actually really good. And if you've been tuned into the channel for a while, you'll know that notoriously my bench hasn't been great, especially my super sub. But I'm glad to say that my super sub paid off with 86 points, and Concours as well with a respectable 28 points after being halved. Singh scored more points than Scarrett, who actually got over the try line for a try, so it just shows that picking the right player is so key. Byrne was obviously the pick of the round here, scoring over 60 points, so a huge congrats to anyone who had her as their super sub. So that's the end of today's video. I'm back in my usual setup now, as I said before, so there will be a video out on Friday after all the team sheets are out, and then maybe an updated one on Saturday morning if I can't make up my mind. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.